Good evening, good evening. Listen, did you watch the Shy, season 4? What did you think about it? Has the show changed for the good or for the bad this season? Listen, you want to watch this live because we're going to delve down into the show from this season and discuss how they, in my opinion, missed a few things, and of course, specifically, how they missed an opportunity, guess what? For fashion. So what I want you to do is go ahead and grab that favorite beverage, and we will be right back after this. You ready, AB? Hit it! In the building!
He spoke fashion. I'm telling he spoke fashion. I'm so bad. He spoke fashion. I'm telling he spoke.
Thank you for joining us again. Listen, this is HeSpoke Fashion, and I am your host, Daylon Thomas. And this is where we discuss women's fashions from a man's perspective. And of course, we endeavor to go everywhere fashion is. For this week, we found where there was an opportunity for fashion that was missed. So I want you to go ahead and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody that we're live, and they want to join us in this discussion. That's right, my friend. They want to join us in this discussion. So listen, to my YouTube audience, I want you to do me a favor. And if by chance there is someone that you think can contribute to this conversation, then please share this with them. And if indeed, at the end of this discussion, you like the discussion, please hit that like button and then go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And for my beautiful butterflies and fly guys on Facebook, please hit like and share. And share this with those whom you think need to be a part, again, of this conversation. All right, let's get to it. First, let me start by saying that this is not a show to bash the Showtime series, The Shy. If you are like me, you applaud when people of color are able to tell their stories. And I, for one, always give shows that portray characters that look just like me a chance. Yes, whether it is reality TV or documentary, I realize that in order to have more shows like this, we must support them by viewing them. So nevertheless, while I applaud the efforts, I believe it is imperative that we put our best foot forward when we have these opportunities. So first of all, I must applaud Miss Lena Waite for this show. Come on, give me some hand claps. Let's applaud Miss Lena Waite for this show. So while I have my opinion of this season, the first 2 seasons, I believe, were very well developed and written. Wouldn't you agree? At the first glance of the show, you know what? I was really excited to see the life of those in the windy city of Chicago, specifically that of the South Side. Previously, we were introduced, some of us, to Southside Chicago by none other than the Obamas, right? Beautiful, lovely family there, the Obamas. But we were introduced by the Obamas. They started to speak of where they came from, and it was the South Side of Chicago. But personally, having spent lots of time in Chicago, listen, I knew that wasn't the only portrayal of Black life in Southside Chicago.
Okay.
I was really anxious to see what the Chi had to offer. And listen, the first season really did not disappoint. The characters, although they were just beginning to develop, by the end of the season, you really figured out who you were going to love and who, my friend, you were going to hate. You knew who the bad guy was and who was the good guy. You also figured out that perhaps the bad guy was in the well-to-do Southside residents, and the good guy was oftentimes the guy dealing drugs. Yes. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, I feel you on that. How can you find yourself rooting for the bad guy? You know, the guy who is roughed up by the cops, who, by the way, are sworn to protect and to serve. Right, he's roughed up by those who were sworn to protect and serve. Nevertheless, I, for one, you know, I just love Chicago in the summer. Do I have any witnesses out there that love Chicago in the summer? And mainly that's when I visited, during the summer. And although I have also visited during the winter, I am not fond of the winters in Chicago. But the Chicago that I was anxious to see showed up in both seasons 1 and 2. However, by season 3, there was a major shakeup. In the wake of the Me Too movement, the lead actor, Jason Mitchell, was caught up in it. Yeah. You remember him from, what was that, out of the NWA story? I can't even remember the movie. Straight Outta Compton. Played Eazy-E's character. Great actor, phenomenal actor. But he got caught up in the shenanigans and ended up being booted off the show. So by the beginning of season 3, he was gone. And the one guy that I was beginning to root for was out of the door. I believe, like me, many of you, I would say, enjoy a rags to riches story. And Jason's character was the one you could most envision making his move. Just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt grow, thinking how it all looks every time.
Bruh.
Yes, that was Jason. That was his character, Brandon. Things were looking up. There were about to be some good times, not only in the ghetto, but in the best part of Southside Chicago. But then I began to question, would they erase Jason's character altogether or develop a similar character to replace his? As we found in both seasons 3 and now season 4, there hasn't been one to date, in my opinion. So listen, let me make my case. When we look at this, let's just deal with this. First of all, the mayor. You would think the mayor would be a good character that you could root for. But he was a gang leader, a drug kingpin, doubter. Yeah, that's him right there. Yeah, he looks shifty to me. Then you had Emmett. Emmett, although he's a nice young man, and I love the fact that he saw an opportunity and grabbed it, and as a young man, opened his own business. So let's give a round of applause for Emmett. Come on, let me see some hand claps in the comments. Emmett, yes, he seized the opportunity where he saw that the restaurant that he worked for was going to go out of business, and he seized that opportunity to open his own restaurant for himself. But listen, Emmett's problem have been the typical depiction of the young black male stereotype. Come on, you can probably name them. multiple baby mamas, and consistent infidelity before and during his marriage. But get this, they determined that this season they would trick us into believing Emmett's marriage was going to work out by introducing, watch this open marriage concept. I mean, could you even imagine such a thing? Right. I mean, perhaps Bill Gates and Melinda, maybe that's what they had, this open marriage concept, but I did not like it. I did not. Listen, now to my fly guys, let me appeal to you out there. Tell me how you would like it if your wife or significant other not only told you that she was sleeping with someone else, but she told you that he is better than you in bed. Oh, wait a minute. That's almost a cause for 2 to the body. Wow. Let's show this beautiful couple here. Let's show this beautiful couple, Emmett and Tiffany. So while his wife, check this, is an entrepreneur herself, she has one bad thing that all that have ever delved into this industry, this particular industry or career path, know. And that is to never get high on your own supply. That's right. And secondly, never mix business, with pleasure. She's getting high on her own supply. Although there were many storylines going into this season, which I believe made it oftentimes very difficult to follow and to really get to know and develop a relationship with the characters in the storylines. But again, listen, I want to focus on tonight the storyline of a few of the 2 best friends, Kevin and Jake. So I, for one, initially enjoyed their friendship as it reminded me of my childhood. But these kids went from elementary school behavior to community college behavior real quick. Yes, no, they aren't in community college yet, but their behavior depicts them as such. I, for one, listen, I don't know about you, but I don't like grown kids. And this is so evident that the writers are being pressured to make these characters grow up too fast. I must say, at the pace they're going, either Kevin, Jason, or Papa will be a baby daddy by next season. Mark my word, by the rate that they're going, at the pace they're going. But that is the reason this season, in my humble opinion, I believe missed it. And I'm not the only one that has some issues with this season. Let's look at a few comments that were out there. It says, The Chi has made another valiant effort to address the concerns of the inner city Black community. However, it falls short when portraying the lives of those men who I myself have become familiar with via educational and business networks. Black men who are loyal husbands and strong fathers who raise their sons to be disciplined, organized, and decisive. The latter is unseen in The Chi. Instead, we see Black men as pathological liars, drug, crime-associated politicians, drunkards, misogynistic, impulsive, shallow, sexually confused, uneducated, unemployed, fatherless, and politically naive. This guy was going on a rant. The screenplay is given an upgrade from the excellent use of cinematography and photography via the use of angles and lighting that draw the attention necessary when creating an advertisement for BLM, Black Lives Matter, and social political agendas that have taken flight since the unfortunate barbaric murder of George Floyd. I don't know if that's a diss or a compliment. Overall, I give the series after season 1 2.5 stars out of 5. That's comment 1, all right? Let's look at another comment. There are some that has some issues. This show is depressing. No hope at all. Black on black crime, girl having to rape his baby, corrupt mayor, cheating black men, gangster acting kids. Is there nothing else to write about with black people? Right. What about those who are doing well? Have a great 2-parent home, great politician, positive heterosexual couple, kids going to college, and watch this, becoming great. I'm tired of the hood expletive. We have an opportunity now to rise above all this foolishness and be the real kings and queens that we are created to be. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King fought for us to have a platform to show how successful we can be as people, and we are making a mockery of their death. Let's take advantage of these platforms and show the world what we can do. Let's read another. This young lady said, I don't want Brandon's character killed off the Chi. None of the reports seemed like termination was necessary. Brandon is essential to the Chi, and everyone who watches and enjoys this series only wants to see Brandon, Jason Mitchell, yes, do well. That's the reason I watch. I might not continue if he is not on next season. Let's go on from there. Let's read the next one. This is from Mike Ford. He says the first 3 seasons were excellent. Could not wait for next episode. In season 4, it's painful to watch. What happened? There are multiple stories that just don't make sense. Very sad to see such a cutting-edge, fresh idea show turn into predictable run-of-the-mill show. Such a great cast working well below their talent. All of the writers should be fired. I will be glad when this show is canceled. Wow, Mike. Mike is hard. Let's go for another one. This one is a pretty lengthy one by Tia Morris. She says, I have been watching The Chi since the beginning. I have really enjoyed it from the start. I have mad respect for Lena Waithe, and I understand that she does not write or direct all episodes of The Chi. However, this show still reflects her brand. I'm very disappointed in the storyline where one character has been recently diagnosed with breast cancer. I am a survivor who had an aggressive form of breast cancer with a long family history of breast cancer. My mother died of metastatic breast cancer, and 2 of her sisters died of breast cancer as well. I cared for my mother for 2 years before she died, so I know breast cancer. I was appalled by how this storyline misses the mark in so many ways. When you, writer/director, attempt to tackle such a critical subject matter, please get real technical advisors. As the storyline has been written and executed thus far, it verbalized what appears to be a late diagnosis due to a lump that was apparent for a long time, but it purports to be early stage. Didn't make sense. Then the woman is claiming her impending death and is so hysterical, it's unnecessarily scary and incongruent with an early stage breast, let's go to the next one, cancer diagnosis. This is partly why so many women, especially women of color, don't seek medical care when they suspect breast cancer, and that's unfortunate. They think it's a death sentence out the gate, and it's not. There's just so much wrong with this storyline. Make this storyline a series of teachable moments. Reach out to a cross-section of real survivors and medical personnel and talk about the successes and mix in their unfortunate losses as well. Talk about body image after various treatments, procedures, talk about support systems or the lack thereof, etc. Since y'all done felt strongly enough about exploring the subject matter. Make it realistic to the point you positively impact a life or a few lives and create a better understanding with your viewers. Show women that although they may be in the battle of their lives, they are strong and they are fighters. So they serve as role models for their daughters and nieces and friends who might be hopeless if faced with the same situation. Make it real. Please, much respect for you, Miss Waite. Get them writers together on such an important topic. Listen, I concur with that commenter there. I, for one, lost my mother to breast cancer, and it was a real struggle watching that part of the show. But as she alluded to, it really didn't show exactly the issues. It was in a hurry to get to a resolve, and it was a very teachable moment. So I agree on that subject. Let's go to another one because I don't want to just show you the bad comments. I want to show some positive ones as well. Talisha Woody said, I knew nothing about this series before a week ago. I was out and happened to catch bits and pieces of it and thought to myself, I need to find that show when I get home. I found it, downloaded Showtime, and within a week, I was all caught up, starting with the pilot. I must say, I have been blessed to not live in poverty or grow up in the hood, but it's still relatable without having come from that background. It's eye-opening and puts a lot of things into perspective that one wouldn't give a second thought maybe. Thank you for bringing this portion of society to the spotlight every week. All right, now let's read this last comment here. Judith Sharon says, I am fascinated by this show. The characters are all wonderful. As a white woman, I'm wondering how realistic the show is. So in reading the reviews, I am getting a mixed message. For inner city, it seems more livable than my perception has been from my white suburban experience of seeing TV or reading news stories. It seems like a neighborhood with people who care about each other that is much better than suburban neighborhoods in my experience. I love Ronnie and the kids especially. I look forward to each and every episode. Now that last comment is frightening because I'm not certain if that is the way we want white America to depict us. And we know some of them have a problem separating fiction from reality. Karen, oh, sorry. Yeah, to those Karens out there. See, I remember a time not too long ago when we would criticize Hollywood for only putting us in roles like this. But I digress. This is the new era of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I guess it is what it is. Now, I'm not the only one to voice, and I'm not one, to voice my opinion without offering help. So with that in mind, I want to make a few recommendations that I believe will help the show tremendously. Yes, you know what? It's time to bring the fashion, baby. So right now, idea number one, bring out the fashion. That's right, bring out the fashion. Do you know at one point, Chicago was emerging as a premier fashionable city. There were high-end boutiques and luxury brands popping up all over. Some of the young designers that worked for certain luxury brands hail from Chicago. Even today, you could simply travel down North Michigan Avenue and find some of the best fashion brands there are in this country, hands down. But unfortunately, this is an area where the show simply missed it. So bring out the fashion. So really quick, there are at least two characters that you really could utilize as a blank canvas for fashion. First of all, there's the obvious choice with Dowda's wife, played by Candy Burris. So listen, while I never thought of Candy as the most fashionable on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, she has a chance here. So just get with me here. First of all, Dowda is a gang leader. And there's so much that can be done in fashion for his wife's role. See, if you're like me, you expected her to be Gucci down to the socks, rings, and watch, because every drug dealer babe that I knew always had the latest and the greatest in terms of fashion. I mean, how many of you knew, like, the young lady in the hood that was dating the drug kingpin? She was always laced. But here, not so much. So, her character is one that they could use. Another choice would be the not so obvious, but hear me out, and that is Keisha. Yes, I know that Keisha has suffered through a lot in the last 2 seasons. She's gone through a lot. But I'm glad to see that now in season 4, she is starting to heal, and she even has a new boo to match. But listen, what better way to show that she now has a healthy dosage of self-esteem than to show her stepping out of her shell and doing so more fashionably. So listen. Here is the plot that I am thinking of. The almost adoptive mother, who is an architect, mentors her. And through her mentoring, she realizes that although she loves drawing, she would rather design clothing than buildings. Come on, listen. Her mentor then helps her because she notices how far she has come in her own fashion journey, and then she decides to invest in her own fashion label. Listen, this is a great narrative for Keisha's role. Keisha, I might add, is a natural beauty who has model good looks as well. And plus, she hails from the great state of North Carolina.
Oh,
Shout out to North Carolina. Get your hands up in the building. Yeah. So let's look at Miss Burgundy Baker, who plays Keisha. Model good looks, I might say. Model good looks. Beautiful. Let's look at another photo. I'm telling you, they're missing an opportunity for fashion. Look at Miss Burgundy Baker playing Keisha. Keisha. I'm telling you, this young lady is beautiful and model good looks. Let's give one more. You got to give Keisha some looks. Look, plain and simple, but she is very beautiful and deserves this opportunity. Lastly, listen, Keisha is wonderful, and I'm telling you, I think that is a great way to start season 5. Let her have this moment in fashion. Lastly, this one could also use a glow up, and I, for one, don't quite understand why in this era, if someone is to be an activist, we automatically assume the look will be this one. I mean, why? Why does it automatically have to be this look? Let's show another. I mean, does this just scream activism to you? Militant? I mean, they went back to the 70s and got this look. Let's look at another. Wow. All right. Very beautiful. And they're missing an opportunity. Let's look at a meme somebody created. I didn't create it. Let's look at this meme. Oh my God. Do you see what that says? somebody is wrong for this. Somebody's petty for doing this. Somebody said this is Gemma. Isn't that Uncle Clifford from P Valley? Listen. It is my belief that even as a young activist, you can be fashionable. Where did the writers get the idea that activism had a particular look? Listen, let me speak and appeal to my young, beautiful butterflies out there. Listen, don't let anyone put you in a box when it comes to how you want to express yourself in terms of fashion. You know, that is why there were so many women in corporate America who felt as if they wanted to be the CEO. They had to put on a more masculine, strong look. That is the devil. That's right, I said it. That is the devil. Just look how Gemma dressed up looks. I mean, and I know that she could still be the activist they need on the show. Let's look at Judea, playing Gemma. Very cute girl. And they wanted to make her have this rebellious look. You don't have to have a rebellious look to be an activist. All right? So let's put that to bed. Look at it. Very beautiful young lady. And listen, I know she can wear her hair natural. It doesn't have to be a fro. So listen, my idea number 2. Since we know that this is the formula now that Hollywood wants to use, again, for every show depicting Black life, I recommend, that's it, that there be a better LGBTQIA representative. Yes, I think there should be. All right? Because this is the formula. Every show that has a Black cast has a representative. So presently, this show has a lesbian couple, right? Check that box. Raising a family. Then it has a transgender relationship. Check that box. But they skip over the G, LG. And G as in gay person, all right? If I understand correctly, now this is still new to me, so don't cancel me. But if I understand correctly, a lesbian is a lesbian, right? A transgender is a transgender, and gay is gay. They don't fall under the same umbrella as they used to back in the day. So here's my recommendation. We need a character just like this one. This is who we need. Yes. Jack from Will and Grace. This is who we need a character like this. Show another one. Jack, I'm telling you, did you guys ever watch Jack and Will and Grace? Did you ever watch that show? I want you to know that Jack was a fan favorite during Will and Grace. And he offered some of the best comedic moments on the show. That is exactly what the Chi is missing. Those moments where it's not so dark and gloomy and no one is being murdered or sexually abused. Let me hear from you in the comments concerning this question. This is a question I want to pose to you. Are the streets, the hood, always filled with dismal times and behavior? Or are there some moments, at least some moments, when you laugh? Let me hear from you. Now, for instance, if you don't like Jack's character, then that's fine, as I have one more recommendation to fulfill the gay requirement for Black television shows, and that is none other than this guy right here. Oh, Listen, do you remember this guy, Wayman? Wayman from the movie A Low Down Dirty Shame. Yes, Wayman. Now, rest in peace to the actor that actually played, who actually portrayed Wayman in this movie, A Low Down Dirty Shame. But let me say this. He played this role very well, and he added not only the humor, but also a bit of fashion. And this is an area that they could really develop a very fashionable character that I believe would add value to the show, fashion that is, as well as humor. Do you disagree with that? I mean, they're gonna have that representation whether you like it or not, but at least we can get the one that we want on. All right. And this last idea, I want you to know that it's something that I really miss and hope that they will bring back, and that is the idea of a positive role model for our young viewers. Would you agree with that? Bring back a positive role model. There's a bit of hope, I would say, in Papa's character. But I'm afraid they will also have some calamity to occur that will change the positive trajectory of his character as they did with Kevin. You remember Kevin in the first season. He was a nice kid, but now he has shot someone, been expelled from school, and believe it or not, has a budding drug problem. Listen, what happened to Brandon's character? You can bring him back or someone like him. You know, I was really surprised that in this day and age, that they would rid themselves not only of the actor playing the character, but the character as well, when there were certain shows that made the change without removing the character. Do you remember the show, The Jeffersons? Do you remember that show? Remember Lionel's character? One season, it was one guy, and the next season, it was another. They did not get rid of Lionel's character. They kept the character, changed the actor. Even more recently, there was a show that I'm certain you remember called My Wife and Kids. And if you recall the character Claire, she went upstairs, and when she returned, it was a totally different person. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why they had to totally eradicate Brandon's character on The Chi. They totally did away with him. And listen, again, I don't want to appear anecdotal because it is a serious case in our community that necessitates action. And listen, having as many positive role models is a start. I'm not saying that those aforementioned characters can't be positive. The Dowders, the Jakes, none of those characters. But what I am saying is I haven't seen them being that way up until now. If you disagree with me, if you disagree with my assessment, then let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. Let me hear from what you have to say. Someone said all is well here, but that show needs help. It does need help. Yes, I made it about the fashion because I do believe that they're missing a great opportunity, not only to showcase some of the fashion, but some of the art as well in the beautiful city of Chicago. So, that's all I have for you tonight. We have come to the end of our conversation on tonight. And I would like to, first of all, thank you for joining me. And listen, I want to ask you two final questions. First, I want to know, will you watch next season if there's no change? And secondly, will there be a season 6 if they don't make any changes? Wow. To all my HeSpoke fashion butterflies and my fly guys, I want to wish you a good night, good fashion, and remember, HeSpoke fashion to you. Good night. In the building. Yeah.
HeSpoke, 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 HeSpoke fashion. I'm telling HeSpoke, 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 HeSpoke fashion. I'm so bad. HeSpoke, 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 HeSpoke fashion. I'm telling HeSpoke.